And we're back, guys. Welcome to another episode of AutoTalksUS. My name is Igor. Took a short break last couple of weeks, but we are back again. I'm not going to make this a reoccurrence where we just disappear for 1 to 2 weeks. Life's been a little chaotic, but we are so back, and this is going to be a really exciting episode. We're going to be talking about the Formula One movie. Huge news. That movie was unbelievable. The British Grand Prix just this past weekend, super crazy race, tons of talk about there. And then Christian Horner leaving Red Bull. What in the world? So stay tuned. We got all of that coming this episode, and we are going to dive right in. Yeah, this whole thing with Christian Horner, man, that is wild. Am I surprised? No. I think a lot of us actually saw it coming. I mean, the things going on in the Red Bull camp have not been great. And that's coming off of the back of 2023, or was it 2024 when they won like 21 out of 23 races or something like that. Basically, to sum it up for those of you who don't know much about Red Bull's Formula One program or Formula One in general, for the last 20 years, the only other team besides Mercedes that has had a truly dominant era is Red Bull. Red Bull were huge in the earlier 2000s, basically up till 2010. 2011, 2012. So from 2010 to 2012, you had Sebastian Vettel's dominance. He won the 10 championship, the 11 championship, the 12 championship, and I think that's it. I think he's a 3-time world champion. I don't think he's a 4-time world champion. Maybe he is. Let me see, because Vettel championships, it's 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013. So he was a 4-time world champion for Red Bull at the time. Previous to that, Ferrari had a dominant stint. So Christian Horner's been with Red Bull for 20 years. In 2005, he came on. In 2005, Renault was winning the 2 championships with in 04 and 05 with Fernando Alonso. Yeah, and then you had Schumacher in 06. Who was it in 07? Lewis? No, Lewis was 08. Who won the 07 championship? Why am I drawing a blank right now? I think it was like 2007 World Championship. I swear, like it's gonna be really, really embarrassing. Oh, it was Kimi. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Kimi had his Ferrari. He's the last person to actually win a championship with Ferrari. Oddly enough, so that's really really sad. But anyway, so yeah, you had Kimi, and then of course Lewis in 08. Jenson Button in 09, who, by the way, I met at Quail 2 years ago. Couldn't have been nicer. We hung out for almost 30 minutes to an hour at the Lotus booth. He was surrounded by media and fans, and because I unveiled the Carbon Series Shelby Cobra with the team probably 100 feet away from where the Lotus stand was, and so they brought the Evija and some other cool stuff. The Emira was there. The Evija was there. He brought his own spec, which was spec'd out in the Braun GP color package, which is the car that we're talking about, the 2009 World Championship car. But anyway, we're getting off topic a little bit. Red Bull with the Christian Horner situation, we saw it coming. Red Bull's been just kind of falling apart the last 12 months. Starting with the Horn Dog. Of course, we infamously know that story that a picture got out of the Horn Dog. He had some spicy text messages back and forth with someone on the team, some female, who knows. No, that quite frankly, I mean, what are we going to do, right? It's a scandal. But it did marinate into something else. And also, Jos Verstappen, Verstappen's dad, I'm purely saying this as a Formula One pundit, his dad is not a big fan of Christian Horner. There has been some massive ripples in the leadership camp at Red Bull themselves, because the when you look at the news reports that the CEO of Red Bull, Matt Schitz, as well as these two other guys, basically the board at the top of Red Bull, all agreed that it was the right decision. So it's like a power thing. Like the powers that be did not see Christian Horner staying there outweighing him leaving. And when you talk about him leaving, that also includes the possibility that Max might leave. That means the possibility of not winning another world championship anytime soon. So they took all of these horrible things into consideration and still decided that it was better to be without Christian Horner than with all of those things. So it must have been pretty serious. He is apparently still in some sort of role with Red Bull, just not the team principal at this point. But I did see some sort of communication that he was effectively still staying with the team, just not in that particular role or whatever. It is exciting to see Laurent Michels. I hope I didn't botch his name, but I've liked him for a long time. He started with Minardi. He's been in Formula One forever. I'm excited to see how he fits into the role. They've been swapping seats with these Racing Bull guys, the Red Bulls and the Racing Bulls. For those of you that don't know, Red Bull is operating two teams. They always have. It started as AlphaTauri, then it became it started as, well, really, it really was Minardi, and then Minardi became Toro Rosso, then it became AlphaTauri, and now it's the Racing Bulls. It had a brief period as the RB Cash App Visa Racing Bulls Red Bull team. It was such a stupid long name. I think that was last year when they had that Visa Cash App Red Bull thing, but yeah, the hearing the commentators actually have to say Visa RB Cash App. Just like, dude, just say Racing Bulls or AlphaTauri. A lot of us that are watching still remember Toro Rosso. Just say, oh, he's got the Toro Rossos on his left. Yeah, like, we know what you're talking about. You can say the Red Bull sister team. You can say any number of things. It's all the same. So it's exciting to see him kind of come into the position, into the role. He's definitely not unfamiliar with the Red Bull hierarchy. He's been in it for 20 years himself. So they got a good replacement there, I think, anyway. So we're going to see what happens. Max Verstappen is almost, in my opinion, 100% going to Mercedes. I mean, I don't see a world where he doesn't. Toto Wolff himself in a recent interview said that he and Jos Verstappen have a great relationship. They're the same age. They grew up together. And that 2021, he wants to basically just look past. Toto's not worried about 2021. Doesn't sound like Jos Verstappen is either. It sounds like both of them, as mature business people, friends, adults, peers in common, realized that what happened 4 years ago was a mistake. The Mercedes went up the inside. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen were battling every corner that first lap. You guys have to remember that Copse Corner comes at the back end of the track, not at the first lap. So they were banging wheels on every turn leading up to that moment, and Lewis Hamilton, just made a small error. He made a small error. There's no way in hell that two titans of business from Toto Wolff's camp and the Red Bull camp would sit there and let there be a grudge, a multi-year grudge. Only us as the fans, and only people who just aren't at that level, are going to sit there and emotionally marinate and stew in this thing. But business people, man, they move on. Like, we don't look at that stuff as like, oh, it's, you screwed me over, so like for the next 10 years I'm just going to hate you. No, dude, like, if there's some value in working together in the future, we'll work it out right now. It's like, dude, like, you apologize, hey, it's all good, don't do it again, and then you move on and do great things. I think Max Verstappen and Toto Wolff have spoken, and I think they've spoken a lot. I think, this is my personal opinion, that they actually get along much, much better than Max and Christian do. Think about that. Considering how embarrassing Christian Horner has become for the team in the last 12 months. Do you really think Max Verstappen looks up to him at this point? Do you think he's like a mentor figure or like someone that he can look up to? No. Max Verstappen's ashamed right now. He's ashamed in the team. They're not giving him what he wants, which is why he is triggering that exit clause. Mind you, he can't just leave Red Bull because he feels like it. He's under a contract, but there are exit clauses in those contracts. And so if you get to that point in your career with a team that they are screwing the pooch so bad that they are fumbling and making mistakes and just doing things in a different way, because keep in mind, if you're an all-star athlete, you're signing a contract with a team because that team is going to perform. That team is going to give you the tools to be the world champion, and Red Bull's not doing that. They did the last 3 years. They did the last 3 years. They did the last 4 or 5 years. It was up to Max to win the championship prior to that, but the Mercedes were just too strong. They were way too strong, which, by the way, Max remembers very, very well. So if you think that Max isn't considering how dominant Mercedes used to be in his decision whether or not he's going to go over there, you're sadly mistaken. He is considering how dominant they were. They gave Lewis Hamilton six world championships, 6 world titles with that team. And Max probably knows, or at least thinks, I'm speaking objectively here, like if I was Max, I think I'm better than Lewis Hamilton. If I was Max, I know that I'm better than Lewis Hamilton because I've made better results with shittier machinery and shittier circumstances. Lewis Hamilton's usually required a very dominant car to win. That 2021 car was so much better than anything else on the grid that the fact that he and Max were battling on every turn implied that Max was at that level because his teammate was nowhere near them. You think Checo could have gone wheel to wheel with Lewis lap after lap? No. Checo and Bottas were more of a kind of a even matchup. So all the people that go there with these theories about how Lewis Hamilton's untouchable in any piece of machinery. Well, no, that's actually not entirely true because what we're seeing right now is that exact situation. So then they flip the script and say, well, it's because he's in a new team. It's like, okay, but world champions in general, they're better than that. Like what makes them great is that they can get results in shitty machinery, which go back 30 seconds to what we were talking about with the 2021 Red Bull car and how close and how unbelievably fast Max was able to make it when people like Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, even Daniel Ricciardo were having a hard time keeping up. I mean, look at 19, look at 20. Max was the only person that was capable of even remotely giving Lewis a thorn in his side. Lewis still won the championships because the Mercedes was just a phenomenal car. But that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm not a fan of either guy. I'm a Ferrari fan, but I'm like kind of an old Ferrari fan. I'm not gonna say my age, but I mean I'm not 40. Which is also not old, but I'm saying 40 years old, you would have been in the Michael Schumacher is my favorite driver camp, probably, or Ayrton Senna, which they are for me. That's kind of where I'm in the Ayrton Senna, I'm in the the Schumacher kind of thing. There's a lot I could say. We could go down that road. Might actually have to do an episode where it's just Igor's Formula One digest, and where I just kind of talk about like all my deep sort of thoughts on the sport and things that have changed over the year. Because when you watch a particular sport for over a decade, close to 2 decades, you start to marinate on things. You start to have opinions that are other people might not share, opinions people do share. So it's all that kind of stuff. But closing out the Red Bull thing, man, I have no idea where this is going to go. I wish Christian Horner the very best. What he did for over the last 20 years for Red Bull, I don't think anyone else is going to be able to do. Sadly, I think we've kind of seen the Red Bull peak. That's also why we're talking about Max leaving. If you think he's staying, you're out of your mind. You will see him leaving the team within 12 months. You can guarantee it. And if he doesn't, I will personally, I was about to say shave my head. My head's already shaved. I will get a tattoo on my ass of myself saying something stupid, or you guys can leave a comment on what you want me to do if I'm wrong. But Max Verstappen gone from Red Bull within 12 months. That's a given. Moving on. I saw the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. Came out like a week ago. Wow. What a fantastic film. First of all, if you guys are hardcore race fans like I am, please don't go in there thinking you're going to see a movie made for yourself. This is not a documentary, all right? If you want a documentary, you can go watch things like Heroes on motorsport.com. That's a documentary about Felipe Massa, Tom Christensen, and Michel Mouton. If you want a documentary, you can go watch Senna. You can go watch Schumacher. You can watch, First Drive. There's a lot of them you can watch, and they're made for people like us. I mean, it is from start to finish the most exhilarating motorsport content you've ever seen. So, with that being said, don't go into this movie thinking you're getting that. This is a blockbuster. This is a summer blockbuster. Jerry Bruckheimer, Tom Cruise, they all decided that they wanted to release, or not Tom Cruise, Jerry Bruckheimer and Brad Pitt and everybody involved with this film, they wanted it to be a summer blockbuster film. Bigger than Top Gun, bigger than Top Gun 2. This movie had a $200 million budget, and they broke $190 million in the box office last weekend. This is a massive film, guys. It has drama, it has comedy, it has love. I mean, quite frankly, guys, an old school, old head race car driver just coming off of Daytona to race in Formula One against a much younger teammate. That's not an unrealistic plot. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I want you to see the film for what it actually is. But the plot was quite realistic, in my opinion. The cast was phenomenal. I mean, Damson Idris, Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, Kerry Condon, who played the love interest. Oh my lord! I mean, what a film. So I'm not going to spoil it for you guys that haven't seen it yet. It's not been out that long yet. Today was actually supposed to be our group theater run where we were going to go to the theater and go see it. Still might do that, actually. Might just wrangle a few people. We do need to see who had actually signed up for the event, because here's the thing. I didn't get a lot of attention on it, and so I put event canceled. Literally just kind of put event canceled on as a little note. So I'm actually going to pull it up and see. Event, here we go. So yeah, not a lot of what's it called, action. That's okay, because 6 people responded, interested but not going. Yeah, that's okay. It was great, guys. I loved it. The shots, I mean, the cameras that they use, and you've got the thing is IMAX, right? It's an IMAX experience, so they filmed it really, really, really well. If you guys remember Top Gun 2 and those sequences with the planes and just how immersed you felt, take that experience for the Formula One movie. That's about what it's going to feel like for you guys. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love it. It was a great experience. It gives the fans a lot to think about as far as what these drivers are going through. That was one of my biggest takeaways, was just the pressure that the drivers are under in their personal lives and outside of the cockpit. So that was great. What else? We talked about the Red Bull drama. Silverstone. What a race this past weekend, guys. What a race. So First of all, hats off to Lando Norris. He secures his home victory. I think a wet race like this is really where drivers seal the deal. One side of the corner is dry, another side is wet. There's constantly changing variables from the temperatures to the amount of water on the track, what tires you're going to use, when to stop, and everything like that. So the races like these really accomplish all three. They give a driver his maximum amount of pressure and stress. It gives the viewers the most amount of action to watch on the television. And three, it really lets the team work as a single unit, from the pit crew to the engineers to everyone involved watching the weather radars and so forth. Races like these are where you really see peak Formula One, from logistics to leadership. A McLaren 1-2 lockout is cool too, because even though, and we're going to get to this, but even though Oscar Piastri was slated to win the race, he actually finished second thanks to a 10-second penalty, basically. Whether or not he deserves that. And you know what? Let's talk about it right now. I want to know in the comments whether you guys think that penalty was deserved. Should Piastri have gotten a 10-second penalty for that abrupt slowdown, aka brake, under that safety car restart? So for those of you who aren't aware of how Formula One works, like if there's an accident on the road or if a safety car has to come out, if the race basically has to be neutralized from a speed perspective, the safety car will come out, and that's usually a sports car of some kind. So in this case, it's the Mercedes AMG GTR Pro. And so what that is a very high performance Mercedes sports car, but it's a street legal car, and it comes out on the track, and it basically neutralizes the speed of these Formula One cars. So they have to very slowly, weaving back and forth, follow this safety car while the incident gets cleaned up, whatever that incident might be. And so when the safety car is officially called in, all the drivers get correspondence through their earpieces in the helmet. Their engineers are telling them, hey, the safety car's coming in this lap, get ready for the restart. And so if the car in front is the one that's leading the pack, he's setting the pace because the safety car's already come into the pits. So the safety car's gone, the first car in line becomes the safety car, and he is the one negotiating the track, setting the pace for the restart, because the restart obviously is where the starting line is. And so from the point on the track where they are currently to the line, they're all following that first car. And so Oscar Piastri, in massive pace, took off, came to an abrupt stop. Not really a stop, but he slowed down. I think it was over 50 degrees of temperature. I don't even remember what they were measuring without looking at it or looking it up. But basically, they were trying to determine, did he come to a slower speed aggressively, because he was hauling ass, and everybody behind him started to kind of speed up, and then boom, one by one they slow down really hard. It could have caused a massive concertina effect accident. So, and we've seen that. Just think back to Mugello. Yeah, it was Mugello. 6 or 7 cars crashed out at the back because of that. It was a concertina effect where the car at the very beginning speeds up really fast, then slows down. These cars don't have brake lights on them, so all of a sudden this car just starts disappearing, and then boom, he's right back in front of you, and then bam, one at a time, they just kind of take each other out. So, even though that didn't happen in Silverstone, the principal theory was that he still deserved a 10-second penalty for doing that, because it was like a textbook sort of change in speed and change in velocity or whatever, coming to a stop. Max Verstappen, at that restart, he spun, dropped it to 10th place. That was kind of another one of those things where a conspiracy theory might brew. It's like, well, he's trying to activate his exit clause by not finishing races and, on the podium, and you can blame it on the team and stuff like that, and by not finishing, and because that was kind of weird. I'm not personally in this particular conspiracy camp as far as the Max Verstappen trying to I apologize for the noise, by the way. That's my cat in the background going insane. Every time I record the podcast, he notices that I'm not paying attention to him for like an hour. So something in that triggers him to just go nuts, and he is currently flying around the room, just bouncing off of stuff. So that's the noise you're hearing. He's literally like a Formula One car. His name is Enzo, by the way, guys. I did name him after Enzo Ferrari. So Enzo's flying around currently in the background. I'm turning my head to see where he is, but yeah, there's this conspiracy that Max is intentionally, through one thing or another, and again, this is just a rumor. I hate to even say it honestly, but the theory is that he's trying to trigger an exit clause so that he can leave without paying a $100 million fine, basically, to the team for breaking the contract. Because again, like I said, within 12 months, he's gone. If I had to put a $100 bet, I would say it's within the next 2 months, not 12 months. I think I'm sorry, not 2 months, but I think like we have 6 months left of the season. So yeah, within the next 6 months. I mean, I think an exit is coming literally as soon as the season's over. There's no way he's going to leave mid-season. That's crazy. I mean, champions don't do that. So a champion's going to wait until the season's over and then, as a man, leave. So there's that. And the whole like triggering the exit clause in your contract. Why? Why put that stain on your record? Why potentially have another crash gate? I mean, why? You know what I'm saying? You don't need that. Red Bull as a team don't need that. And in which case, if that theory was true, if there was a conspiracy where Max is trying to intentionally sabotage his own situation race by race, who do you think is involved in that? It would have to literally just be him, his probably his engineer GP, in which case he puts his career on the line by hiding that from the team. But dude, what are you doing? But other people have to know, and it's too messy. I don't think that's the case. Max, I feel like Max literally lost it, because you also have to think there's also been the same theory, and again, you can look this up. There's YouTube videos about it. People really think these theories are true, but someone said that the Kimi Antonelli accident in Barcelona was also a whole conspiracy, you know, with him kind of banging wheels with Kimi, and just like, come on, guys. I'm not buying it, even if it's free. I'm not taking it. You can keep it. Yeah. Now, we need to discuss something very, very important. His name starts with N and it ends in G. He is the first podium finisher for Sauber in 13 years. He has 239 Formula One starts under his belt, has been racing for 15 years, starting from 19th place on the grid. Mr. Nico Hülkenberg finishes on the podium for the first time in his career. I'm currently sitting in a Nico Hülkenberg t-shirt with the number 27 on my back. This guy is a ledge. An absolute ledge. He fucking did it, mate. He got himself a podium. I've been dreaming of this happening. Nico Hülkenberg is one of my favorite drivers, and he has been for a long time. By the way, friends with Max Verstappen. They used to go-kart together. Fun fact. I didn't know that until recently, but there's a reason why Max Verstappen was the first to congratulate him on that podium while they were still in the car. And it's because they like each other. So that's really cool. That's maybe Nico Hülkenberg's. There's a reason why he's sticking around. He's also going to Audi, I'm pretty sure, when Sauber becomes Audi. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. It's going to be amazing. They're slated, I think they've confirmed for 2026 Gabriel Bortoleto and Hülkenberg as the same drivers. Whether Gabby stays or not is unclear. I like Gabby. I think Gabriel Bortoleto is fantastic. We just haven't seen enough of him, quite frankly. I really hope that changes. I need him to get up on the podium, along up there. Or I'm sorry, not on the podium, but at least, come on. He was fantastic in F2. I loved Bortoleto, so I really want to see him do well. And yeah, let's see. What else? No Mercedes on the podium. this time around. Kimi did fantastic. He's usually he's usually always kind of on top of things. Let's see. I want to look at what Oh, he didn't finish. I forgot about that. Yeah, Kimi had his retirement. Man, that was, yeah. I had to remind myself, we had a lot of DNFs this past weekend. Franco Colapinto, Liam Lawson, Gabby, Isaac Hadjar. That was nuts, man. Isaac Hadjar went up the back of, who did he hit? I don't remember who he hit, but the car just came out of nowhere because it was raining, like really, or it wasn't raining, it was spraying. That's the funny thing, like when you guys watch these Formula One races, the onboard footage of the car, it's a thunderstorm. They can't see an inch in front of them because of the spray off the back of the car in front of them. These cars do what's called rooster tailing because of the floors that they run and the aerodynamics. And the tires also. The tires help a lot for this effect, but they throw up several hundreds of gallons of water like per second when they're going 150 160 miles per hour, 160 miles per hour, 170 miles per hour, something like that. They're throwing up hundreds of gallons of water, and the rooster tail behind them, it's like a speedboat. It's probably 20 feet high. It goes back 30 feet. Just huge showers of water that the car is giving off. So in front of the car, it's clear. Behind the car, it's a complete hurricane. And so there's 20 of these cars on the track. So only the guy in front has clear view. Everybody else in the back, it is a just disgusting shower of water. And so Isaac Hadjar was following somebody. You could barely make out the rain light. They do have rain lights. It's a flashing red light. It's a single flashing red light made up of tiny little LEDs on the diffuser of the car just under the exhaust. So you should, in theory, be able to technically see the car in front of you with that flashing red light, but honestly, just go watch the onboard footage. It's a joke. Honestly, that flashing light, it really is a joke. You're not going to see it. And so, yeah, he completely botched it and went directly up the back of somebody's car. I hate looking stuff up when I'm doing the show because since we don't have a producer, for those of you listening to the show, we don't have a producer. So I usually have to manually look stuff up if I need that real-time data. Otherwise, I'm flowing from the head. So for the last 30 minutes, this has kind of just been the knowledge that it's what I've got memorized, but I really want to know who Isaac Hadjar hit. Let's see. Isaac Hadjar struggles with visibility. Of course, yeah. It was Antonelli. It was Kimi himself. So I had a feeling it was Kimi. Yeah, I just didn't want to say it and then be wrong. But the momentum shift in this season has been interesting. McLaren, it is their season. It's their time to shine. This is going to be a McLaren World Championship. I hope I'm not jinxing them. Quite frankly, I'm too small of a. Shit. I shouldn't have said that. I am, for the record, superstitious. I do believe in those things because they've ruined my life so many times. So I really hope I didn't just completely jinx McLaren. But they've been dominating, guys. How is this? This is fantastic. Just another 1-2 podium. So good for them. The timing of Horner departing only 3 days after Silverstone's kind of crazy. Red Bull is kind of cited for that. I mean, look, poor performance is always going to have it. So, again, just to seal it all up, wild week all around. Didn't expect to see Horner leaving this week, yesterday, 2 days ago, but Laurent Mickey's is going to take over. I think they're going to be fine. Alan Perman is taking over for his spot at the Racing Bulls. You got Max Verstappen paying tribute to set incredible successes. Thank you, Christian. We all know that he appreciates those 4 world championships. At the end of the day, he does owe it to Christian his whole career, quite frankly. Helmut Marko also, but not a big fan of that guy. He probably had a lot to do with recruitment in the sort of Verstappen camp, but I really think that it was Christian Horner that led the team from a leadership perspective. So yeah, basically to close out the show, guys, we want to thank you guys so much for listening. The show is sponsored by IEP Consulting Solutions. That's one thing we don't talk about enough here on the show is what we actually do behind the scenes. The show is great. We do this show because it's awesome. I love talking about cars, talking about motorsport, talking about Formula One, but none of this would be possible if it weren't for the work we do behind the scenes at IEP, helping everyday people like ourselves, quite frankly, buy and sell their vehicles. It's really important that before you approach a dealership, before you go and buy your next car or sell your current car, that we sit down and talk about what our plans are, what you actually want to accomplish, how much do you want to save, what's available, what options do we have, how do we strategically make this move so that we can keep the most amount of money in our pocket, because you don't want to do it yourself. These dealers, these professionals, they do hundreds of deals every month. The average consumer like myself and you, we might buy a new car every 5 to 6 years, 7 to 8 times in our entire lifetime. So every time we do it, it is a big decision. It is a really, really important decision, and there has to be a strategy. So same thing with art, same thing with homes, same thing with real estate. You never do it alone. It's important to have a consultant on your side, someone who can objectively tell you what the pros and cons of your decision are going to be and how to do it best. So that's what we do at IEP Consulting Solutions. Make sure you check us out, iepconsultingsolutions.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, huge congratulations to Nico Hülkenberg, his very first podium, guys. 239 race starts, and this is the very first one, hopefully of more once Audi becomes a team. 2026 is going to be just absolutely insane. I'm really excited for that. So with that being said, guys, hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.